Well, the Lions made the move. They signed a corner to the practice squad today. I'm going to break it all down for you and tell you about the latest move for the Detroit Lions here, signing the veteran cornerback Arthur Maulet and what that means for the Detroit Lions secondary. And we're going to get into that right now. Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again. All right, do us a huge favor and like and subscribe to the channel. That would be super helpful. It really does a lot for us. And we're almost to 10K, man. We want to give away these tickets to a home game this year, and you can be part of that drawing. All you got to do is leave a comment in today's video. So Arthur Maulet, here's his career snapshot. Quickly, he's 32 years old. He went to college in Memphis. And his NFL debut was in 2017, signed by the Saints. He played with the Saints, the Colts, the Jets, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Texans. He's got 85 games underneath his belt, 23 starts. His best season came in 2023 after the Ravens had signed him on a 2-year deal. He had 14 games played, 5 PBUs, 1 interception, 2 sacks, and 37 tackles. In 2024, he was limited to 3 games after a knee injury and then released by the Ravens here in 2025 as a cap-saving deal. They saved about $2.2 million by making that move. But the biggest question is, how does he fit in this Detroit defense? Is he depth? Is he insurance policy? What is Arthur Maulet going to do for this team? Well, I can tell you immediately, I think it's going to be some short-term flexibility for the Lions to have some guys that can play, someone that has a lot of experience like he does. And with Terrion Arnold expected back soon, the Lions really needed somebody who can step in immediately if the rotation does get thin. With DJ Reed out, right now the only options for the Lions with, TA and Reed out is Amik Robertson's going to have to be left or right corner, probably taking the primary role. And then Rock Ya-Sin, assuming he's healthy to go this week, is going to be on the other side. But the Lions are down multiple corners with Khalil Dorsey, Terrion Arnold, and DJ Reed out. The Lions needed to make at least one move, and there might be another move coming. Look, he's not just a body, though. Like, this guy, you're getting someone that's played in playoff environments. You're getting someone that understands complex coverage schemes and isn't afraid to get physical in the run game. So from a scheme fit, I would say that he's going to fit quite well. He does fit what Calvin Shepard and Dan Campbell, are trying to do and what they want from their corners, which is aggressiveness and physical against the run and providing some toughness, not shying away from the big moment, making the big play. He's a very strong run defender. He's willing to take on blocks. He wraps up in space. And he crashes down from the slot, which I'm going to highlight 2 of his plays from 2023, speaking exactly to that point. Now, that's huge, right? For this aggressive style of a system that the Detroit Lions run, having this ability as a strong run defender fits nicely. It's just one of those things that the Lions are never going to waver from, especially when the Lions, might potentially roll out some 3 safety looks this weekend. If he is brought up this weekend off the practice squad, he'll be utilized probably in that role. The Dan Campbell connection. So why is he in Detroit? Well, this one's pretty simple. There's some history here. Maulet played under Dan Campbell back in New Orleans during the 2017 to 2018 stretch when Dan Campbell was the assistant head coach. So there's familiarity here, and that matters. And Dan Campbell knows what he's getting. He knows that he's someone who understands the culture that Dan Campbell wants to or is trying to breed in Detroit and has built in Detroit. He understands the expectations of playing under a Dan Campbell-led team and the physical brand of football that the Lions run. It's demanding, and that's what Dan Campbell expects out of these guys. So here's what he brings from Baltimore back to Detroit. In 2023, Maulet had one of his best seasons ever as a Raven. Like I said, 14 games. He logged 5 pass breakups, 2 sacks, and an interception. He showed up, man. He showed that he could handle the man, the zone, the split field concepts. He adapted to whatever the Ravens threw at him, quite honestly. So he's not just a coverage guy. He's a tackler, right? He's a run defender. He's a blitzer, otherwise known as a disruptor. I get it. He's 32 years old, but he still has some of that dog in him. Some of the key plays and highlights throughout his career, like I said, I wanted to highlight at least two. And the blitzing ability, man. 2 sacks came on third downs, timed blitzes that caught the offense off guard in both situations. He has a very quick first step, and he knows how to disguise the pressure and where it's coming from. He's also very good at tackling in space. One of his standout plays was against the Chargers in 2023. He forced a fumble with a clean tackle in the open field. And that's exactly the kind of play that flips the field. That's what Dan Campbell and Calvin Shepard have a huge emphasis on this season, is providing the offense with more opportunities to put up points. And then in zone coverage, which we could see quite a bit this weekend against Patrick Mahomes, he's got really good awareness. He reads routes well. He breaks early. He doesn't give up easy completions. And his timing and positioning really help to keep the defense tight and reactive. So a lot of good things here to take away from this signing. I guess my final take, or I guess what I'm thinking here, is it's not just a depth signing just yet. It could be after Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed get back, he may be gone. I guess that depends on what happens with Khalil Dorsey. It's just a smart move, right? You're adding experience, versatility, that grit factor that we talk about to the Lions secondary. It's been tested all season. It's been the next man up. Well, now we're bringing the next man in. Maulet knows what it takes to play in high-pressure situations. Having been with the Ravens, I mean, that's pretty darn good football team back in 2023. He knows, and 2024, he knows what it's like walking into a system that rewards toughness and adaptability, and he does both of those things very well. Look, Detroit is not just plugging holes. I think that, Brad moves with intent more than anything. They're building a defense that can rotate, that can disguise, they can hit, right? They can tackle, they can punch the ball out. And I think that Maulet fits that mold to a T. Speaking more of Terrion Arnold and what's going to happen here in the short term, we really don't know the extent of the full injury. Based on some of the reports that I had read, it sounds like Terrion Arnold is dealing with a pretty significant shoulder injury that just doesn't require any surgery just yet. So giving him 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it's going to take for Terrion Arnold to get that swelling down, to be able to work that shoulder out a little bit. Hopefully he can get back, sooner rather than later. The timetable was speculated at the end of October, which is going to give him about 3 weeks. I would say that that's going to be a bit early. I think, the Lions will be into their bye week by that time, and the Lions are probably going to wait until week 9 to get Terrion Arnold back into the fold if he's ready to go. The other big question that I had today was about DJ Reed and what's expected of DJ Reed. What's the timetable for DJ Reed? And again, this is another one that it's IDK. We don't know. And that's the hardest thing about this is when you don't have a definitive injury designation, broken bone or a torn ligament. Anytime you have soft tissues involved and it's really just rest and rehab, it can be short or it can be long term. I would say if DJ Reed is back by week 9, that would be the absolute earliest that we would see him back. But I'm not going to count. I'm not going to count my chickens, man. We'll wait and see, how he's feeling and wait until we get some more good news. So there it is, man. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell on the hunt for a corner. And they just brought one in, man. Arthur Maulet, 32 years old, previously playing with the Ravens, now a Detroit Lion on the practice squad. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end. Don't forget, subscribe on your way out. I know it's so easy to forget, but it would really help us out a lot. Appreciate y'all. Go on Pride, go Detroit Lions. Let's get those Chiefs. Pressured by